Okay. So these are all the various table extensions. One is key flex field value, underscore all. These are all the tables, you know already, table extensions. Okay. This interface tables we are talking about here. Interface tables we can see into all the information is available into one responsibility, that is integrated server gateway. So if you click on this repository, you have to provide a criteria here: product families, financials, product is payables, open interface, and you can check. In account payable, there are two categories. One is AP invoice. For this, payables open interface import, and these three are for supplier. Okay, these three are the supplier here. Now your next stage is what it is? Stage 2. Stage 1 in the last class we have completed. In the stage 2, what we have to do is we need to transfer the data into interface tables by doing validations. Validations. Validation means checking the data. The second one here is inserting data. Insert data into interface table. And third one is error handling. So these three things we can do. Okay. Even though it is 10,000 lines code, only these three only we can do. I'll just write down the code flow also here for you to make you understand only. These are all called as a pseudo code also. The next 30 minutes will be this only. You have to understand syntaxes, procedure, everything. So if you understand this, the other conversions will be similar. Only this conversion will take time because you are very beginner, right? So let me open the code. This is the specification. Package will have two components. One is specification, other one is body. So in the specification, if you want to register this into application, there are two parameters required. One is error buff. Last time we discussed, right? Error buff. Red code will have three codes. What are they? Right. 0 for normal, 1 for warning, 2 for error. If you don't give these two, what will happen? No, it will give error actually. It will expect the arguments, invalid arguments, inconsistent argument, those type of error you will get. Okay. So syntaxes you need to learn. There is no other choice. It's create or replace package. This is the schema name, package name. Then after that, as, and here list of the procedures, list of the functions, list of the cursors, anything we can, list of the variables. Right now I took only a single procedure. Okay. So syntax wise it is. So don't feel that I don't know PLSQL. Now I'm teaching you PLSQL also together. Okay, line by line. So replace the word is required here is to compile repetitively. Okay, you will do a number of times modifications. So if you simply say create, only one time use it is, but we have to repetitively compile this. That's why this R replace keyword is required. Okay, create or replace package. This is a schema name. If you don't take also fine, it will take automatically, which wherever you are compiling. And then this is the procedure name, and these two are the arguments or parameters. So you have given a starting name and as well as ending name also. Clear, right? So syntax wise, then next is body. Take this body. Initially, we have to compile a specification, that is a PKS. PKS is a extension of your file, and then PKB is the body. So sometimes we can say PLS also, package list specification. Okay. Now, okay. Now here also body, create or replace package body. Body is the additional keyword here. See, body is not there in this. So here body additional keyword came here. Create or replace package body. This is the schema name. We'll have multiple schemas, custom schema. For every module, one schema is there. Schema means it's a location in the database it is. Then after that, global variables. So why we are saying a global variables is we can access from every other program unit within this package body. That's called as a global. Global access means like we can access that variable from anywhere within this body only, not from other program. If you want to access from other program, then you have to mention the specification. But right now, it is global only in the body, not in other programs. Other programs cannot access the G user ID, G login ID, all those. Only for internal calculations and to refer from various sub program. Procedure is a sub program, function is a sub program. Okay. So sometimes I will use that terminology, sub program and all. Global variables we took. Okay. Now there are many global variables we declared here. This is called as a declaration. Okay. G is the global user ID. So if you want to get the user ID from dynamically from the environment, we have already seen, right? FND profile something. Right now, this is called as a percentile type. What I will do, I'll just make a note what you need to prepare after this also. This one. This is the one thing. So percentile type, the purpose of the percentile type is this user ID, we may not know whether it is a number data type or a varchar or any other data type. So your system will pick automatically from this particular table. If you say FND user, in this table, whatever the data type it is, it may be anything. The same thing we are allocating to G user ID. That is, it means. So if you take this FND user ID, this is called as a percentile type it is. Go to script. Okay, here itself you can see. I'm just checking here only. So user ID, what is the data type of it here is number and it's 15 is there, size, everything. Okay. So whatever the FND user ID is there, that we have to get automatically to this G user ID. So usually we can declare like this, simply number. Okay. So instead of declaring, then we are allocating in FND user ID, whatever the data type it is, that it has to take. So we no need to verify the table also. So that is the advantage of your percentile type. Okay. So there is a percentile row type also available. Row type means for entire table. If table is having 150 columns, all the 150 columns, we can use it by using this. So right now it is for single. Type is for only single variable, not for the entire database columns. Okay. We are talking about still global variables. Okay. The code flow, I'll make a note so that first step is what it is. Declare global variables. What is meant by global variable? These are all accessible across other program units. You can use n number of times within your package. Now, these are all simply we are allocating with login ID. These three variable, yes. This three variable why it is required here is how many number of records you are processing. 1,000 records, 70,000 records, or how many. So that count we have to print it for your handling here. The second one is processed. If you are passing 1,000 records, 900 records will be success, 100 records will be failure. That failure will be recorded under this. So every time 3 I'm taking, okay, because we have three types of data: supplier, site, and contact. Okay. How many variables we are declaring here? What type of the variables? One is number of records found. In which table? We are picking the data from staging table right now. The second category is what it is? Number of records processed. Processed means loaded into interface table. The next category is number of records rejected. Because error records also we have to send it to customer back. So in this case 3, in this case 3, here 3. Overall 9 variables, 9 global variables. These are all. Is that okay? And initially we are initializing. We should not see all the wrong account accumulation here. We are initializing to 0. Very first time, the value of the supplier found is 0. Later we'll increment it. So this portion is, I hope you understood. Correct? Now next portion. So this commented portion is really required. Otherwise, other programmer need to check the entire code. If you are taking a procedure or anything function inside of a body, you will have to put comments like this first and then write what is this? What is the use of it? Okay. So this is the procedure called by the main procedure. Okay, this is a local procedure actually. It is not there in the specification. If you look at here, see, it's not there. Procedure name is this only. It is defined in the body, not in the specification. Now, so this is the procedure called by the main procedure to validate the records in the staging table. Just validation means whether it's a right record or wrong record. So how can we say right or wrong is that I'll let you know all this now. Okay. Now this procedure I'm taking here. Here you cannot say any create or replace procedure name and all because it is inside of the body. Simply you can mention a procedure name and then as keyword here. The next is cursors. Okay. Cursor syntax everyone knows. Last time also you have seen. Cursor. This is a cursor name. This is our own name. Is then after that select statement. Okay. So if you take this table name, right now one record. This is a table. Check status flag is right now E means error it is. But right now which type of records we have to take here is status flag is null. Null means it is a new record. Right now it is not a new. It is a validated and errored out record it is. Error message also already kept here. Currency code 900 does not exist. This is error message. Okay. In this, just go through again. Syntax. Cursor name is select star from row ID we took here, row ID. With this XASS, this is a table alias here. So first letter I took, then this one, after that this one, and then this. Just a table aliases. Okay, if we just go through all this. Now second cursor, we are taking sites data. If you don't make a relation here, vendor ID is a relation, then you may not load properly. Okay, you will load wrongly, and for wrong sites, for wrong suppliers, you will load. So definitely, join condition is required. That's a vendor ID. AP suppliers and AP supplier sites are the join condition is vendor ID. And in the same way for contacts, there is another column name extra that is a vendor site code. This very condition is also required. Okay. So whenever you are writing a cursor, what you need to do? So simply cursor name. Okay. Cursor name. Then is select statement. Select from which table? your staging table. We can use star. Then which type of records we have to take? Where status flag is equivalent to null here. That's it. So this is only. Whenever you also practicing, you keep the code here and type it. So then only will come to know. Typing is really required. Simply you are pressing F5 and you are feeling supplier conversion is over. No, you have to type it so that you will come to know the syntaxes. And if you want to declare a second cursor, what you have to do? Cursor, then side cursor is select star from your sites table. So whenever you are taking a cursor here, what you need to do? You will take a parameter like this. You can see here vendor ID is a parameter. Just go up here. This is a vendor ID. So P is the vendor ID. Whatever you are passing, the same thing I am passing in the where condition. So this is the relation here. Okay, vendor ID is the relation. One additional AND condition is required and one additional parameter is required. So here 32 parameters we can pass as a maximum, but right now only single I passed. And here also I passed only 2. This is called as a cursor with parameter. The next one you have to practice is cursor with parameter. These are all your practice. You need to do today, tomorrow, day after, or next 10 days. You can, whenever you get a time, go through all this. One is row type, and then cursor with parameter. This local variable will come back. Now, this is the another procedure. Create the error procedure to be called in the validation procedure. Okay. In this body, we are calling now another procedure that is a error procedure within this validate. So this validate procedure, where are you calling actually? You are calling from this main procedure. So inside of this main procedure, we are calling validation procedure. Inside of a validation procedure, we are calling one more that is error procedure. Okay. So there is no syntax here, right? Create or replace procedure is and all, because it is inside simply. Simply what you have to do, you have to mention a procedure keyword, then procedure name. This is our own name. In which table you got the error? Is it a supplier table, site table, contact table? And what is your error ID, error number? And where exactly you got a error? That error description. Okay. So this is very small procedure. Insert into your error table. So this error table we already created. This error table. This is our own table. I already mentioned a script here. You can check. This is error table script. This is our own custom error table. Okay. XX AP conversion staging errors. You can take your own name. This is especially for error handling. If you are passing 1000 records, you may get couple of errors. That errors we have to handle into this particular separate error table. This is not Oracle given. This is our own table, custom table. Whatever you are doing, all this, these are all custom tables only, not Oracle given. Okay. That's it. So till now in the code flow, what we did, we declared a global variables. Second one is start validation procedure. Inside of a validation procedure, we declared a cursors. 3 cursors with cursor with parameter logic. Then second point is what it is. Error procedure. Inside of error procedure, what you are doing? You are simply inserting the data. Okay. It's a normal insert command here. If you look at here, see. your DML commands, insert into table name values your column. This will pass externally after every validation. So after inserting into the data, you need to commit it here. Commit. Otherwise, you will not be able to access the data from this particular table. Okay. Tell me how many points we completed till now. We are almost 100 and 120 lines over. Recall. First declare a global variables. Then after that, cursor. Cursor syntax. Okay, if there is a dependency, what you have to do? Parameter, correct. Okay, next what we did? One, correct. Error procedure. Okay, error procedure. In the error procedures, what we did is we inserted only insert into error table. That's it. And after that, this is the main begin. So in the declarative section, what are all things we can do? We can declare variables. We can declare cursors, procedures. Correct? Any other things? That's it. Okay. Still, we are in the declarative section only as of now. Now we just entered into begin section. In the begin section, we are identifying the number of records. How many records you are processing. So select count star. Okay, count star, count one. Differences, do you know? I already gave you one. Yes. I gave you SQL file, right? In that I already mentioned the same thing. Okay, next. Here it is a plain statement here, till here. Select count star into class. This is called as a class here. Into class. Okay. I'll email you all this so that you can focus. The whole PLSQL will be covered here only, in this package only. Now, 3 statements over. Clear? Okay. You need to divide. If you understand this, the second statement is easy only. Correct? Here also same. This DBMS output.put line is just to check into the code only. Okay. You have to use fnd file.put line. Instead of this, what you can do? Fnd file.put line. This fnd file.put line, if you keep it, you can check into, there is a button, right? Here, 2 output buttons. One output button, this output button. Other one is log button here. DBMS output is only works for database. Okay, in the Toad only it will work. But if you want to see any information in the application, definitely you need to use in this, fnd file it is. Okay, fnd file.put line. Initially only we are printing all this data. Before supplier loop, we are printing all this data. Then this is the main for loop. For loop syntax, you know, right? For this is the variable in. Okay. So I means iterator actually, because you are habituated with the C language or something, correct? So every time I will not use. So we'll use only variable. You can say it is variable. For variable, then in. This is cursor name which we took initially. Right now the data is available in this cursor. It's a cursor is a variable, temporary variable. Okay, then loop is the syntax it is. For variable in cursor name loop. Okay. Next point here is for loop. Then I'm just scrolling down. Don't feel that why I'm not explaining this. Definitely you'll come to know. So first is, this is the message I kept here. Validation start for suppliers. This is where you need to understand what is the name validation. Validation means whether this data is fit for Oracle applications or not, because we are loading third-party data. So blindly you should not enter a data. Okay, so right now you are validating the supplier number. The supplier number, if you look at here, see in this particular table, is it a null? This is the null actually, and this is also a null. This is also a null, but this is not a null, right? Some number is there. Now check the statement here. If so, this is what it is actually. Subrec. If you just go up little, this is the for loop variable. It is the whole data in this cursor, which is transferred to this variable here. If there are 1 lakh data, 1 lakh data is available in this variable only. Okay. Now, so subrec is what it is here. Supply record. It's a for loop variable. If for loop variable supplier number is null, right now it's not a null actually. It's a not null. Some data is there. Now, if it is null, then immediately we have to make it error. It should not be a null actually. If it is null, then we are updating two variables here. One is supplier error. Is L is a local variable. Now we'll come to know. Somewhere I bypass some values, right? Some column names. L supplier error, where it is. This one, correct? So you are using here variable means you have to declare it. Declaration is really required. Okay. Then one more is here L. L is a local variable, G is a global variable here. L supplier error details, which is equivalent to the same thing. I am concatenating this variable with this separator. This is a slash operator. That's why if you just search this data, you can see here. Do you see the separator here? This slash. Okay. And this is just to concatenate the columns or to print the output we can use. Okay, this is the separator here. You can use comma also, or you can use semicolon, you can use hyphen, whatever you want, you can use. But usually this is good. Now for which supplier number it is? Simply we are saying here supplier number is null. This is our own message it is. And for error handling, you have to put it fnd file.put line, fnd file.log, and your variable it is end if. So we started if condition here. This is just a piece of code. Simply if condition it is. Okay. Now in the same way, if you want to validate the name instead of number, we can keep a name. Okay. It has three parts here. First part is what it is, if condition. Okay. Second part is what it is, your variable assignment. Third part is printing output. That's it. Now I'm expecting from you people, tell me how to write it. Right. If condition, your for loop variable. For loop variable I'm taking as a supplier record dot your column name. Column name is what it is, supplier name or number. That's fine. Number is not null. If it is not null, right now is null. Okay, we can compare with the is null. No worries. Is null. Then two variables, two local variables. That's why I'm using here L. L error flag. So if you are using means just above that we have to declare it is equivalent to what we need to make it is, yes, it is an error, semicolon. Then one more local variable, that is error message. Then after that, you use this local variable, pipe symbol. Then you can keep here slash. Then another message. Message is what it is. Supplier number must not be null or should not be null. This is the message. Then finally, what you need to do, this message, you need to print it. For printing, what is the syntax here? fnd file dot. Then after that, fnd file dot out. Then after that, this error message. That's it. It has three parts, as I said. If condition, this assigning variable values, printing. So if you want to validate the supplier name, just remove the name. Now copy paste will work easily. Correct? Supplier name. So wherever number is there you can make it as a name. So this is the way you can copy paste and write a code. Okay. Now in the same way, we'll check other validation. If we just go through the code, I would like to validate this term name. Okay. Terms. So term name, you need to check in your table. That's an AP terms TL. Or AP terms also fine. Okay, name like. Yeah. Where name like. One second. Okay, TL we can use then. Terms TL is there. Okay. If you look at here, it is okay. Capital I, I'll give. Do you see here? Immediate. This term, if it is there, then only we can select it. While creating a supplier or site, so if you don't have a term at all within your company, then it will give an error. We have to check the existence of this value. If it is there, then only the value will be valid here. Okay. Now, how we can write that? Same story. So if your variable name, the subrec dot terms name is not null, then only we have to validate. See, if you look at here, this one. Correct? Not null it is. Then we have to open anonymous block here, begin exception n. Previously, that is just simply where is a null or not null. But in this case, it is. We have to verify that it is there in the database table or not. In between begin and exception, we have to write one statement here. That is select name into PL name from AP terms where name is equivalent to this one. That's it. Exception. We have three types of exceptions, correct? Do you know exceptions? You know, right? When no data, yeah, others, then too many rows, correct? These are all the standard exceptions. zero divide. If you divide with a zero, these are all standard exceptions. You have to learn all this case. But right now I'm just using no data found. Whatever the term you are passing, which is not at all available in this particular AP terms TL, then we have to mark it as an error. So for error handling, we can use two variables. One is L error flag, other one is L error message. One more is okay. So in this supplier, simply I'm changing in message here saying that terms is not known. In Oracle applications, term is there, whatever the terms we have, and whatever the term which you received, that is not at all available. So that's why it is not known. It's a unknown term it is. If it is unknown term, then we cannot load. Your system will not allow you to select that particular term. Okay. So this is the way we can write it. There is a slight variation in this validation. For supplier number and name, just simply we are checking whether it is null or not null. But here we are checking inside of your database in AP terms TL whether the term is defined or not already. Okay. If you want to validate the currency, the same story again. I'm saying. So shall we write for currency? Currency table name. Have you ever seen as of now currencies table? Currencies where can you see in which modules? Currencies. You can see into GL module. Currency is different. If it is not showing, what you can do? Control L, list of values. General ledger. Oh, sorry. Currencies we have to type. These are all the currencies. If your company is located in various countries, and you need to enable all these currencies here. If you don't enable currencies, your system will not allow you to select. Currency enabling is this one here. Checkbox. Enabled, disabled. If your country, if your project is not in Afghanistan, then you no need to enable. Okay. These are all not available here. If your branch is in Australia, Australian dollar. Or from now onwards, if you don't want to use this Australian dollar, then you can end date also. Okay, there is a date box here. Okay, here is the place. If you click on this, if you end date here, today it is not at all accessible because we have end dated here. So this is the way we can validate the currency. If you are using INR, INR must be enabled in your currency. It's already enabled. Okay. So two additional conditions required. One is what it is, enabled checkbox. Other one is it should not be end dated. If it is end dated, then we cannot use it. You tell me how to write it then. One if condition, one anonymous block. Anonymous block means it does not have a name. Anonymous. These are all list of the topics you must prepare today, tomorrow, day after. Till you get perfection, you have to practice all this. If you want, I'll give you some videos also. Go through it. Meantime, anyway, PLSQL trainer is there, right? He will help you all this. So now what I am doing, validate currency code, we can say. So how to validate the currency code? If you see in the table right now, see, instead of currency INR, AED and all, but they gave here 900. It's wrong. So these, to track all these type of errors only, we are doing a validation. Validation is just to filter the data, whether it is suitable to Oracle apps or not. This is okay. This is good. Payment currency is good because it is having AED. Okay. So let's write it. First, if condition. If your cursor variable name, okay, supplier record dot currency code. Currency code is a column name, is not null. Once it is not null, then only it will enter into this particular block. Okay. Begin. Whenever you're writing a PLSQL block, you must write all this first. Then later, in between, you can include whatever you want. Otherwise, you will miss it. It's a better programming practice. Now, in between begin and end, what I'm doing, so there is a select column name. Column name is what it is, currency, right, into your variable, that is L currency code, from which table, FND currencies. I did not show to you, right? Do you see here the table name? FND. FND means foundation, not find. Okay. FND and underscore, you people are mentioning like PO underscore, requisition underscore, address underscore. No, underscore, no mention. You should not mention anywhere. Whenever you are telling P2P or OTC cycle, underscore you should not mention. Okay. So the table name is what it is, FND currencies. Where currency code. Sometimes they will give you currency code in small letters also. In that case, one function is required, that is upper, lower, init cap. These are all you are already used. Is equivalent to this code. Okay. As I said, two additional conditions. What are they? Yes, correct. The checkbox is there, right? We have seen already. Enabled checkbox. That's called a checkbox, means always flag only. Enabled flag, that is equivalent to Y. This assignment operator is required, right? And one more. Sorry, here I am not ending. And sysdate between your effective start date and end date. Simply I'm writing, okay. Exact column I did not check. That's it. And in the exception block, we have to use no data found or any other, or when others also we can use. If when not, then two flags. One is error flag, right. It's very easy, right? But if you spend time with the patients, then only it will be easy. Well, I have seen many people will skip it. You have to type it, then only it will come. Here is a place, error message. Okay, that's it. These are also three parts, correct? First one is if condition, second one is this your select statement, and third one is exception. Now go to your version. Now I am not going to explain any other validation. There may be a number of validations. If you look at here, see, as of now, I did only three validations. One is supplier name, supplier number, term name, current. Four validations I did. You need to validate payment priority. Priority value will be in between 1 to 99. 99 is the maximum priority. 1 is the least priority. It should not be beyond 99 or below 1. Simply less than, greater than. Okay. Any other thing to validate here? Nothing. Almost we completed. Only payment priority we skipped it, right? Payment priority and payment currency. So now check. Go to body. You want to see once how we validated the term name? I'm just putting it a single frame so that you can understand. Can you observe here from here to here? Line by line, just observe. Whatever we typed, same thing is there here. Anything we missed? If condition, then this anonymous block till here. Just one additional when others I have used. We can manage with the no data found also, no worries. And upper function I told you, correct? Right. And fnd file dot put line, fnd file dot log here. One else condition I used. Term name cannot be blank. Sometimes term name is missed, then we cannot make as a blank here. Check the currency code. Enable flag. Then after that, when no data found, then almost 200 lines code is over now. Payment currency same. Then pay group we are not using actually, but still you can remove this if you want. In our case, I'm not using pay group, but just for awareness, I mentioned here. Pay group is a column. Okay. Now next is payment method. This is also commented. Payment priority I mentioned, right? That is, if supplier record payment priority is less than 1, means that is not in a range actually. That is out of range. Or condition. Or is a operator, right? Logical operator and or not logical operator. If it is greater than 99, either 99 is greater or less than 1, that is invalid range. That's why I'm putting here payment priority out of valid range 1 to 99. So till here, how many columns we validated? Can you recall? That's why I mentioned here, see, validation end for suppliers. How many columns we validated? These are all really good questions. In supplier conversion, how many validations you did? One is supplier. These are all called as a. The next flow is what it is, validations. Validations on how many columns or what are the columns? Supplier number, name, which currency? Invoice currency or payment currency? We have both, right? So invoice will be generated from India. That's invoice currency INR. Payment will be from Dubai. So at that time, payment currency is what it is, AED. So we have both columns. So what are the columns? Invoice currency. One more. Next. Correct. Payment priority. What is the valid range for payment priority? 1 to 99. Next. Any columns? One term is missed, correct? That is payment term. Anything you missed? These are all just header level only. Line level, site level, it will be additional. Contact level, it will be additional. Validations are really required and it is hard for your program. If you don't validate properly, then your program will fail. You will not be able to load further. So are you okay with this portion? So I'm simultaneously I'm writing the code flow also, just to make you aware. If you just see this pseudo code, then you can understand what. And the same way you need to write into your documentation also. Your next documentation will be here. That is CV60. I'll show you that CV60 and all. CV40 is for functional consultant, functional specification document. CV60 is for technical document. You can simply call it as a TD also. Technical design, TDD, technical design document. Then CV120. So like that. So we have multiple documentation is required. So working is easy. Code we can get copy paste, but the documentation you must write a good English. Okay. So I'll show you all this. After completion of this, I'll explain you CV60, CV120. We have already documents. So till now 200 lines code is over. In this 200 lines, what we did is we declared a global variables. And after that, we started one validation procedure, cursors, and then error procedure. After that, we took here for loop, right? Inside of a for loop, we started doing validation for many columns. So till now, if you have any queries, let me know. Okay. Just to make you understand only, I'm typing all this. And in the same way, you can prepare in the technical design document also. Okay. So after doing a validation, we'll come to know whether there is an error in the currency or there is an error in a priority or payment term or any other, sometimes 3-4 columns errors. So all the 3-4 columns are a single column. We have to concatenate it saying that this is the error for so-and-so record. We have to make it error. The entire record we have to make error. My point is here, out of this entire record, if you get any currency error or priority error or term error, whatever the error it is, the whole record we have to return it. Okay. And whenever you get an error, then we need to update it saying that this is an error. Error is E. So very first time the status flag is what it is. Very first time the status flag is null, right? Now after validating, it may be either E or Y. Y means good record, E means bad record. E is a error out. So, but simply if we say error, then we cannot trace, right? So for that, error message is also required. So these two we have to update it. So whenever you update it here, there is a separate error table also here. This is the second one. In this table also we need to insert it. So how we can insert simply here is, we have called one error procedure. If you go back here, there is error procedure is there, right? In the code flow, this error procedure, every time we have to call it error procedure. After doing all the validations, call it. And in this, we are going to insert records, error records into the error table. So after completion of the validation, we are doing update staging table with error flag and error message. So that I told you just before. If you just look at this, if we have already updated by using error flag and error message. This is the one step. Second step is what it is. We have to call error procedure and load into error table. Okay, this is the second point. The second point is what it is. Call error procedure. Okay. To load error records into error table. Yes, inserting. Okay, or to insert we can say. Okay, that's better. Okay, call error procedure is one, and after that we need to print error records, right? If you go here, we have declared some error records rejected. So this rejected count we have to increment it. Just +1. Increment means +1 simply. So where and all it is used. Just I'm taking this Control F. Use Control F to go here and there. It's required. Yeah. Do you see now? Incremented. G supply rejected +1. It is incremented. Okay. Clear? Now, if there is a error in the master record, there is no meaning in loading the site and its dependents, site and contacts. So we have to update forcefully, saying that this is also error. Then upcoming is also error. Without the master record, we should not load the detailed records. Clear? The next point is what it is. If error in master update site and contact record as error. And another point is what it is. Increment rejected count. So overall, after validation, 4 things we are doing. You just read all these 4. If you still don't understand, then we'll see. Understood, right? So no తెలియకుండా అయిపోయింది కదా మీకు. So tell me, after validation, what we did? You recall step by step. In the validation, what we are doing? We are filtering the data whether it's correct or not. Let's say if it is wrong. So if you see a wrong data, what are the steps we have to perform? That is one point. Next, incremental rejected count. That is the second point. Next, load the records into error table. That is the third point. Next, correct. That means you understood nicely. Okay. Go back to body. So I wanted to show you in the code. Okay, just see. After validation ending, then if there is an error in the supplier, then update the supplier side contact staging tables. So simply, if the value is y, then I am making it as a e, swapping here. As of now, y I took, but I'm just finally I'm changing it to e here. And rejected count is a second point. Third is these two. If a error in master, just detail also same thing. Calling error procedure. See, this is a procedure actually. Initially we took, right, procedure. Then finally, update staging table with the flag v. If you don't have an error at all, that means that is a good only. Good record means it is a valid record. V. So how many flags you have seen as of now? Very first time null, Then second time we are forcefully updating as a E means error. If not error, then obviously that is a valid. So that's about the suppliers. Now next sites. The sites also same. Second for loop I started. Simply scrolling down. Otherwise you'll feel bored. Okay. Site data we are validating. Operating unit data. Same steps only. See, site name is yes or no. And the third one is here term name. In the header level, how you validate the terms the same way here. See, if only this variable is changed, site record is terms is not null, then begin, and these are all concatenation of all the columns. In the same way as country code where it is the table name, this one. FND territories is the country code. Currency code, payment currency, payment method, tolerance is not required right now. Priority here also there, site level. After validating here also I did same. If there is a problem in the site, then we have to mark supplier and contact also error. Then update the tables with the flags. Then call the error procedure. Okay. If not, if it is that is not bad record, obviously it is valid record. Then we need to increment processed count because now it's not a rejected. It's a good only. Good count is processed count incrementing. And the next for loop is here for contacts. The contact validations are here. Operating unit. See, if you open a file, you can come to know. Nothing complicated here. So we have to validate here operating unit, country code, and first name, last name. 3 validations. And in the same way for sites. Validation means whatever the column names are there in the file. These are all. Operating unit, your post box office, your country, your phone number, and these are all the flags. Okay. Currencies also we have seen. So checking the first name, check the last name. These are all for final file. Final file is what it is. It's a contact. I'm talking about this first name, last name combination. You see the line number, how many lines over? First 200 lines only difficult. Right now almost 500 lines extra we have gone through all this. Because same process, repetitive process. After validating ending of a contact, here also same 4 steps repetitive. If there is a error in the master contact record, the dependent supplier also error out at rejected count incrementing, updating a staging table with error flag error message. The next one is call the error procedure. End loop, there are 3 loops required here, correct? This is the contact for loop. This is a site for loop, and one more is just below we can see. The loops we should not forget here, otherwise it will be infinite kind of. Okay. This is the main loop. That's why for every line, commenting is required. Otherwise, other people cannot understand. So till now, 800 lines completed. But the pseudocode is very easy. Pseudocode is this one. So after doing a supplier validation, I'm just simply mentioning here, repeat same steps for sites and contacts. That's it. Okay. Now next is third one here. Third is what it is. Right now, what is the flag value for every staging table record? Either error or one more valid. So what we can do, we can pick the valid records through cursors. In the where condition, what we can do, where status flag is equal to V, and just pick it up and then insert into, simply insert procedure it is. Insert into interface table. There are 3 tables. What are they? In table, AP supplier sites in contacts in. So pick through cursors and insert it. So now I'll show you that. Go to the See here, I mentioned as a insert procedure. So all three we are doing. That's why supplier, site, contact, insert procedure. Cursor name is select star from staging table where status flag is equal to V. V is a valid record. In the same way, second cursor, in the same way, third cursor, but cursor with parameter logic you should not forget. So once we pick through cursors, include a for loop and straight away insert into your table. AP suppliers into table. So this interface ID columns and all, we have to use sequences. Do you know sequence? Sequence. So how are you generating your order number, requisition number, purchase order number? These are all through sequences only. In a sequence, two pseudo columns are there. Do you know that? Next val, curval, you don't know? Curval, next val. Yeah, old new, that is in triggers. But here it is sequence, only two things. If you don't know sequence, just go through, spend some time. Okay. For this value, we are giving area like this. Sequence name dot next val. Every time, for every record, it will increment it. Next val means it will increment for every next values. Next val and curval is the two keywords, or we can call it the pseudo columns. Over. So once it is inserted, what we can do? We can update the staging table with the flag C. C means completed. So overall four status flags you have seen. First time null, second time E, V, C. No, Y just for internal calculations, but you have to say, okay, C, and prior to that it is V or E, okay. And in the second loop it is for sites. Do you feel any complexity here? No, nothing. Just simply insert keyword here. Insert into table name. All these columns we are inserting it. Values keyword and inserting it. Wherever there is a necessity to give a numbers, you can use curval and next val. These are all predefined sequences, not your own defined. Oracle defined only. Over. Finally, we updated as a C. Here also C. So your insertion procedure is also over. So in the insert procedure, what we are doing? We are inserting records into interface tables. And finally, what we are doing? We are updating the staging table with C. C means completed. Record is completed. Now, fourth one is here, main procedure. Why we are saying is a main procedure means the procedure which is available in the specification as well as body. So then only we can access from Oracle apps. So the rest of the procedures you have taken, right? This procedure is not visible. You cannot register into Oracle apps this one because scope is local here. You will not be able to access. It is inside of the body, not in the specification. In the main procedure, what we are doing is just call first validation procedure. The second one, call insertion procedure. Yeah, insert procedure or insertion. Next is print global variables. End of the day, end of the program, we have to print it saying that how many records we processed, how many records rejected, how many records fallout records. Those are all we can see in the global. How we can print here is by using fnd file.putline. Just go here. This one, see, fnd file.putline, fnd file.output. So all 9 variables we took. All 9 we have to print it. See, in the starting, if you see here, all these 9 variables we are going to print at the end of the program. Okay. Your package is ended. So do you feel difficult it is? It's easy actually, just a 4 points. You go through all the 4 points, you can come to know step by step. You spend one day, I'm okay with this. But if you don't understand, then other packages or other procedures you may not understand. Okay. What we will do after a little break, we'll load the data because we have not loaded supplier data, site data, contact data. And this package we need to register as a program. Like how you registered a procedure, the same way we need to register it. Compile this package. I think it's already registered by someone or by me, I'm not sure. Only execution method you have to change. The rest is same. Go to system administrator. This is the one. PLS procedure. Package name dot main procedure we have to take. See main. Validation procedure we cannot call. Insertion procedure we cannot call. Or error handling procedure we cannot call because those scopes are local. That is a main point you need to understand. Okay. So what I will do, I'll just submit this so that you will get a little idea. Maybe you may get 000. Let's see. Inactive no manager. So can you call to that particular person? Concurrent manager is not working. Server guy just call and so once it is up, then I'll show you. Any confusion, guys? It's easy only, right? Concentration పక్కకి వెళ్ళిన వాళ్ళకి కన్ఫ్యూజన్ గా ఉంటది కదా. సార్కి ఇట్లా చూస్తూ ఉంటారు ఎందుకు నేను అట్లే చూసి చెప్పంటారు ఒకసారి పాఠం ఒక 5 నిమిషాలు చూద్దాం ఎలా ఉంటుందో. అస్సలు చూడకూడదు, ఓన్లీ బోర్డు నన్ను అంతే. ముఖ్యంగా మీ 5-6 మంది మీ రోలో ఉన్న వాళ్ళంతా బయట చూస్తూ ఉంటారు, ఎందుకు అర్థం కాదు. ఎవరు రారు మన ఇన్స్టిట్యూట్ లో తెలుసా. వచ్చిన మీరు అనుకున్నంత ఎక్స్పెక్టేషన్స్ రీచ్ కారు. ఓకేనా, నేను 15 years నుంచి చూస్తున్నా కదా. నో కలర్ఫుల్ ఎన్విరాన్మెంట్. గైస్ ఎనీ డౌట్స్?